Hi guys and gals, Froggy here. I am going to do a brake bleed on my 2007 BMW E92 Coupe because the service light came on and said it's due for that, so I'm going to do it. Now I took a look at these calipers, and the bleed screws are on the inside of the calipers, so I am going to jack it up and see if I can reach them, and if I can't reach them I'll have to pull the wheels off. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, Froggy's back. Had to go get some DOT4 brake fluid because the specification for this car is DOT4. It's printed on the brake master cylinder. Also, I have determined that I can reach the bleeder screws on all four corners just by jacking up the car. I don't have to pull the wheels. So that's what I'm going to do. Tradition has it that you bleed the furthest away from the master cylinder first. So that's going to be the right rear, then the left rear, then the right front, and then the left front. So I see no reason to do this car any differently, and that's the way I'm going to do it. Now I got some Valvoline DOT3 and 4. What that means is this is DOT4, but it is backward compatible to DOT3. So you've got the DOT4 level, but you could put this in a DOT3 car, okay? If you want to buy BMW brake fluid, that's fine. You can buy BMW brake fluid. They all have to meet a engineering specification, so I can't see spending the extra money, but if you want to, go ahead. This is a US spec car, so it has to meet US spec engineering specs, so you know, your choice. Anyway, the way I use this is a pressure bleeder. It attaches. Now it has different threads, different attaching caps and threads for Ford, for Chevy, for BMW. I have the BMW one, and then the bottle is the same, of course, for all of them. You want to put the pressure on here up to about, I like 12 psi, and you can get a good bleed going with 12 psi. Anywhere from 10 to 15 is okay. Now I use this a little bit differently than some people will use it, and even the manufacturer tells you to put the brake fluid in here. You can do that if you want to. I don't like to do that. I suck the old brake fluid out of here, and I keep filling this up as I need to. Usually one fill will do the rears, and then one more fill will do the fronts. Let me tell you why. One time I was doing it the other way with brake fluid in here, brake fluid going all the way through these hoses, pressurized to about 12 psi, and guess what? One of these tubes exploded, and there was brake fluid all over the place. So Froggy says, you can trick me once, shame on you, but you tricked me twice, shame on me. So I don't put any fluid in here anymore. I just use it as a pressure bottle. These are supposed to stand up. These hoses are the original hoses that came with the bleeder with the pressure bottle, and they're supposed to hold up, but they don't. They break. So there you have it. Now if all I have is air in here and one of these blows off, doesn't matter, does it? But if I have them full of brake fluid, it's going to go all over the place. It can damage your paint. So you do it the way you want to do it, but that's the way I do it. So now I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to suck out, using this syringe, I'm going to suck out the old fluid. That way I'm pushing new fluid from here all the way to all four corners. Got it? Now I like to put a small hole like that with a screwdriver in there, and I can put my finger over it and tip it over to the master cylinder and not spill anything, instead of tearing the whole top off. When you tear the whole top off, it's hard to put your finger over it. So now I'm going to fill up that master cylinder right to the top, and then we'll pressurize it. Okay, we've got our attachment and we're pumping it up to, I'm going to go to about 12 psi. This is the first time I've done a bleed on this car, so you don't really need to go higher than 10, but 12 means I could probably pump it once and do both the rears. That's about 9. Looking for leaks, listening for leaks. There's 10.5. There's 12.5. And it appears to be holding pretty good. There's a little close-up. Yeah, that's holding okay. So now I'm going to go to the right rear. Okay, Froggy's at the right rear. There's my bleeder screw right there. My bleeder screw. And I've got a little flare wrench. I'll show you. There's my little flare wrench. It's a, I think it was a 4. No, it's a 6 millimeter. There you can see the 6 is upside down. It's a 6 millimeter. And I'm going to get my flare wrench on there. And I've got a bleeder bottle. I can hang that up with a little wire, and then I like this bleeder bottle a lot because you take one end off and you attach it to the bleeder. Take one end of the tube off and attach it to the bleeder, and you do your bleed like that, and then when you're done you just take it off and pinch that end and you stick it back on the bottle, so there's very little drippage, if any at all. So I think I'm going to need 2 hands, but I'll show you when I get it hooked up. Yeah, I had to exchange the that flare nut wrench for a little open end or combination wrench because I couldn't swing it enough. But anyway, it's a 6 millimeter. I want you to see the brake fluid is flowing. I've cracked it open. There's my wrench. It's really high. I'll be able to show you better on one of the other corners probably, but it's flowing now. I'm not seeing any bubbles. I didn't expect to see any bubbles. I'm starting to get an accumulation in the bottom. Now this is the longest brake line going all the way to this right rear, so I'm going to let enough fluid, I'm going to let it get to about there. Not all the way up to that label, but right about there. Because this car's got about 50,000 miles on it. It's already had one brake fluid flush at about 25, I guess, 20 or 25. So this brake fluid is pretty clean, pretty good, and I'm just doing preventative maintenance here. You can see it's slowly dripping. It's not going to gush out. Don't expect a gusher. Okay, sorry for the camera shake. I think I've got some software that'll take that camera shake out. But it's let me see if I put it down. Yeah, there we go. It's dripping in there, and it's the right rear, and we're gonna go about double what's in there now. We're gonna go about double what's in there now. And so each corner gets closer to the master cylinder, so you go the most, then a little less, then a little less, then a little less, because the last one is a pretty short run of brake line. Okay? So I'll turn this back on when we've got this corner done. Now I'm about ready to shut that off now. And when you finish a corner, you turn the wrench first. Alright, don't take the hose off first. Turn the wrench first. There we go. There's my wrench. There's my hose. And there's my bleeder. So I'm going to close the bleeder first. And that's so that no air can get back into the system, into this corner. if I pull the hose off first, then I'm letting it open to atmosphere, and then a little tiny bubble or two could suck back into that caliper. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So I'm going to close this now. Yeah, I don't know if I can show you this. Yeah, there, I just closed it. Alright? Sorry, my hand blocked it. And look, this is a tiny little bleeder, so don't put too much muscle on it. Okay? I'm just got my thumb on there. I got about a 5 or 6 inch wrench, a little wrench. I'm just going to go, yeah, just snugging it with my thumb. That's all. I mean, yeah, I got a pretty strong thumb, but still. Now I take this off and I pinch it. Got a little drip there. Let me wipe that. And now I'm going to have to put the camera down, and I want to put it to my bottle. Okay, so I closed my bleeder. I put the little cap back on the bleeder. I put my hose to my bottle, and I'm going to roll over and do the next corner, the left rear, but I got to change batteries first. Okay, this is the left rear. We can see this one really well. So I'm going to try and hold the camera and the light in one hand. And pop off my little bleeder screw. Remember, on the left, the right rear and the left front, you've got a brake sensor wire that needs to get captured in that little rubber, cap. There's only 2. There's not 4. So this can go here. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So let me get my hose on there. And this, yeah, I know I had to block it for a second there. There. Okay, I got my hose on. A little bit of dirt falling there. Now I'm going to crack it open. Crack. And there I can see some, I don't know if you can see it, some brake fluid starts to remove itself from the car. And now back down here, I'm going to go up about 2/3 of what I did the first time, so it'll come up to the black label right about there, because this is shorter. Every one I do is getting to be shorter, so you don't have to bleed as much brake fluid through each line because they're shorter lines. Okay? When you swing that wrench to open and close the bleeder, you're only swinging it maybe a quarter a turn, maybe a third of a turn, so it doesn't have to swing very far. Just a little fine point there. Okay, that's all the rear is done. Left rear is done. Now I'm going to lower the car, jack up the front, and do the 2 fronts. Now before you start on the front, make sure you top off your master cylinder, because if you run out of fresh new fluid in the master cylinder, you're going to be forcing air into your braking system, which you never want to do, which will mean you'll have to start all over again from the beginning and bleed it. So check. Now I've still got, I've probably got enough in there to do 1 more cylinder, but I'm not going to take a chance. The front calipers might hold a little more fluid than the back calipers too. So top it off. Okay, we're on the right front, and here's something Froggy didn't know till I did this the first time. That front bleeders are 11mm. They're bigger than the rear bleeders. So okay, we got an 11 on there, and we are filling up. It's flowing pretty fast. No bubbles. So let's see how far I'm going to let this go. I'm going to go about up to the top of that P letter there. This is a shorter run. And the fluid looks very good, and it's all going pretty good. Okay, we're all done on the right front. Now we'll go to the left front and wrap it up. Before we do the left front, the last one, we still have about 10 psi in our bottle, and we have enough fluid in our master cylinder. I don't know if you can see that level there, but it's about 2/3 full, so we're good to go. Okay, we're on the last bleed, and I'm going to check my bottle, and this is the shortest distance, so I will use my judgment on how much fluid to bleed through there. Okay, we're done here. One more point while I'm underneath here. Sometimes you will see some very dirty, dark looking fluid come out of the caliper when you first crack it, and then it turns clean. Well, that means that the fluid at the caliper was probably heated to a very high temperature, and or maybe it wasn't changed for a very long time. But anyway, you want to see nice clean fluid all the time. The fluid I took out was nice and clean. The fluid I put in was brand new. So keep your brake fluid clean. It's one thing for the brakes to stop you when you're just driving easy around town, but if you get onto a long mountain grade coming down a mountain, or if you have to stop several times in a row really hard, that's when your brake fluid can not perform for you if it's old. So that's about it. Okay, disconnect your bottle, and you want to top off your fluid to the correct level, the max. You want to put it up to the max level. Yeah, I'm going to put it up to the max level, even though I didn't do brake pads. My front brake pads are actually brand new. My rear ones are about half worn down. So I'll put it almost to the max level. The level of your brake fluid is a good indicator of whether you have a leak. And that's why people don't usually top off brake fluid anymore these days. They look at that level as an indicator of the health of the braking system, hydraulically anyway. So I'm going to disconnect and top it off. Okay, a couple final things here. We put our cover back on there. That's pretty straightforward. I'm not going to worry about showing you how to do that. This little tab here goes through a slot in the cover. I want to talk to you about ABS systems. ABS stands for anti-lock braking system. Most modern cars have them, and we did not bleed any fluid through the anti-lock braking system today. To do that, you need to go to your BMW dealer, or you need to buy a tool for a couple $1,000s to do that. I'll tell you what Froggy does so that I do get some brake fluid through the anti-lock braking system. I'll go out after I've done a brake job or a fluid flush, and on a safe, deserted stretch of road, I will brake really hard and get the anti-lock braking system to work. I think most of you know what that is. Some of you may have never experienced it. You should if you haven't, so you know what to expect when your car goes into anti-lock braking system. Anyway, that's what I'll do, and when you do that, you do flush some of that new fluid into the ABS, and yes, some of the tiny amount of old fluid that was in the ABS will get out and mix in with the new fluid. I don't think that's of any significance. If you do, then you should go to your BMW dealer and pay what they charge for a brake system flush, or buy the tool for a couple grand. Anyway, that's it. Froggy's going to take the car out and drive it. If this is useful to you, give me a thumbs up. If you want more from Froggy, subscribe to my channel. Hey, it's free. Froggy out. Guys and gals, here are some instructions that I got off of a BMW forum on resetting the service lights, in particular resetting the brake fluid service light, which I just did for you. They work. You have to play around with it a little bit. It's the way I did it. It's not exactly the way this says, but it's pretty close. And it's one of the most frustrating things about working on a BMW is resetting the service lights. But anyway, there's a few. If you Google it, you'll find some instructions. This is what Froggy used, and I got it shut off. So good luck with that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you later. Bye bye.